For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello, and welcome to another episode, the 57th, if we're being particular,
Wow.
of the ever late That's a Shame.
This is actually our first properly late one, isn't it?
I know, I was so annoyed. It's our last one of the year.
We almost had a clean sheet. But in another way, we didn't at all because more often than not, I do upload it after
the middle
midnight.
of the night.
So it's around Wednesday, Thursday.
Why have you just hayed at me?
I didn't mean to. Sorry about that.
Well, don't be doing that.
Well, look, welcome back, everyone. The theme for this episode is that Declan and I are both ill. So get ready for sniffs, coughs, any other sounds you're going to be making. The listeners could enjoy. Maybe a retch every now and then.
Oh, I'll see what I can do about that.
We're going to mix it up for you. The more effluvia, the better. But despite all of that, it's going to be a hell of a show. We're going to barrel on through Dunkirk spirit and all that and make the best of it, even if we're a day late. Why are we a day late? Because some people won't look at Twitter at That's a Shamecast. Quite the hour.
Fools.
Yeah.
Fools. Well, essentially, I was back in Essex yesterday and I travelled home during the day and I got back about 4:15 and I was doing an overnight shift last night for Crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas. So I figured I would get a couple of hours sleep. But the thing that I did instead was I got loads of hours of sleep.
Some would say more than enough.
And woke up to Isaac's traditional 2 messages that I wake up to, I suppose, at least twice a month, I'd say, which is, are you up? And then normally about an hour later, are you dead?
And it's in text speak as well, isn't it? Because we don't talk in text speak very often, but
No.
R, letter U, dead, D-E-D. Seems like, because if you were, then I wouldn't regret having asked in that way, is what I always think.
No,
like if that was the last thing you saw in the world, like maybe you were dying, I don't know, maybe you were choking to death in the flat by yourself, something to think about over the next few days. And you were just like, oh, and then you hear ding and you check, you're like, the blood is pulsing to your eyes because people's eyes go weird when they asphyxiate, don't they?
They do.
Lots of pressure or something. Yeah. So probably blood vessels bursting and all of that. And then you hear the ding and you look, oh, what's that? Are you dead? You'd have one last little chuckle, wouldn't you, on the way out?
Yeah. I chuckle because my initials are DED. So technically,
oh my God.
it's always so.
Oh, wow. That's just another layer that it's not that I didn't know it was there. Part of me did, but it's the poetry that flows through me. You're familiar with it.
And it always is.
Yeah, it is. We've got all kinds of things to discuss, and yet I do want to keep it fairly short because I've got quite the headache going on. And even just talking out loud in the room seems obnoxiously loud. So we'll keep it short and sweet, but we do have, this is our first episode after Christmas. Happy Christmas and all that. Let's talk about that first. Then we've got some New Year stuff, and then we'll get out. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Last episode of the year. How do you feel about that?
It's been a big year for us, hasn't it?
It has. In fact, it's been the only year for us in the context of the show.
Well, I meant for us
As
in
individuals.
general. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
and as a pair, you know.
Yeah. BDDD.
I thought things were really waning.
Yeah. I was
Until
looking into other avenues. For honest. Me and friend and flatmate Mark had a little vaudeville act coming for Chicago.
Setting up a little account on Bumble. But then we started the show, and that kept things alive for a few months.
It did. It's like when a couple, when the marriage is failing and they have a kid.
Yeah.
Was that how you feel about that?
Yeah, and then you were away for summer, and that was hard for me, But
you just had to look after it at home, doing all the mental load.
Yep, and then after that, we of course had the incomparable bonding experience of Block Switch.
That was like being in the SAS, I imagine, except scarier and does more for the country.
That was, like we went for our weekend away as a couple to kind of rekindle things and
fell into an M. Night
fight our way out. For like
Escape.
a haunted Swiss lodge or something.
Nothing as attractive, sadly.
So So yeah, and then we've, got so scared that we decided we had to live next to each other.
Next to each other so that we could both look like Declan and I have a thing where we have like magnets on our backs. So we always have to face away in case Joe approaches from any angle.
And I'll tell you what, if he attacks from the side like some sort of velociraptor, we are fucked.
I haven't thought of that. We need to get Mark involved. He can be the one that just rotates around like a little moon.
Like a little electron.
Oh, he'd love that, wouldn't he? But yeah, it has been all kinds of big. We moved into the podcast realm. We moved into the realm of Colindale, quite specifically and geographically. Yeah. I feel like we've grown as individuals, in a sense.
Yeah.
And I guess it's off the back of that I'm going to ask you, well, some of them are reflection and some of them are questions to do with like what you want to do next year. They're called vision questions. Every year,
very nice.
Because I really strongly believe that if you've heard more than one episode of this show, you would be able to predict that I have a particular contempt for New Year as a concept. I think that it's on brand, isn't it?
It very much
It's not going to shock anyone. No. We're not going to get emails about it. But what I do like to do is, in times of peril of any sort, really, is turn to the internet, see what other people are talking about, to just kind of reassure me that we're all on the planet together, hurtling through space towards death, heat death. And one thing that's really popular at this time of year is lots of lifestyle blogs, lots of just like Danielle style individual bloggers will put out reflections on the new year in the form of questions that you're supposed to ask yourself that, help you to kind of actualize what's happened and come to terms with what this year was, so that next year the goals become clear. You've got your sights set on the new me of 18? Yeah, that's the one. So look, I'm going to just ask you outright. We're going to pepper in some of these questions. Declan's got some poems, and we should just jump back to talk about Christmas briefly at some point because I skipped over that.
Yep.
Number one.
Okay.
What are the first thoughts that come to mind about the past year? Mostly positive, negative, or neutral? Over to you.
God, imagine if you looked back on an entire year of your life and went neutral.
Yes, well, on balance.
On balance.
Mondays were great,
nothing.
But Fridays.
On balance, that entire year of my life may as well not have bothered.
The whole year was like opening an advent calendar and just finding a bit of dust.
Could have just spent the whole thing in a coma and woken up and felt no difference.
Yeah, that would be a shame. So let's eradicate neutral on the grounds.
All right. I mean,
atrocious.
I suppose for me personally,
yep,
it's a positive year.
Oh, that's good.
It was good.
Is that like normal? We said, do you find most years are positive?
No. Oh, goodness, no.
What a question.
Definitely not.
2018, here we come.
But, yeah, I suppose for people generally, for the world, it's not been a good year.
Doesn't seem to be.
It has been a very poor year, in fact. But I'm going to go ahead and say positive because for me, as a cishet white man, it's been great, really, for me. Not because of those things, but in spite of.
I see. Okay. Well, that's good. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is just a year that you would have to, you'd be like legally, the UN would mandate that you had to write a memoir, is 10 about the year that happened, just because it needs to be like preserved in the Library of Congress forever so that people can look it up and be like, bloody hell, they knew how to have fun. So that's 10. If 0 is just, I don't know, maybe you were just like stuck. You know that thing about turkeys where, did we talk about this quite recently? In a Roald Dahl book, maybe Danny the Champion of the World, if you feed a turkey a raisin with a horsehair in the middle.
I thought it was a pheasant.
Yeah, well, yeah, pheasant, turkey, they're all birds. That's what I'm getting at. If you feed a pheasant a raisin with a horsehair, it just stands still for the whole rest of its life. Now, before we get into why I brought that up, do we think that's true?
No.
Why would it be true, and how would anyone have found it out?
I don't think it can be true.
Okay, but then follow-up question, why would Roald Dahl lie so specifically?
I mean, most of his entire life was spent lying really specifically. That's what it is to be. That's what it is to be a children's book writer.
I guess, but it's not a lie to like the fiction behind there could be a man who owns the most amazing chocolate factory is more understandable than the fiction. Like what's he trying to conjure? You live on a planet where pheasants will stand still for the rest of their lives.
I thought it was just about like, don't dads know a lot?
Is that the theme of Danny the Champion of the World?
That is the most of the message, isn't it? He's like, my dad, he's all right, really.
Yeah, I guess that could be part of it. Well, if you are out there, if you're any kind of bird expert, what would that be? An ornithologist?
Ornithologist.
Yeah, then get in touch, because I do refuse to Google it because it just seems silly. On that note, though, I went for curry with my friend Jacob yesterday to a place not very far away, and they were doing what's a slightly odd mishmash of ideas, which is a Nepalese, Indian, British hodgepodge of a Christmas menu, where they've just kind of scoured the kitchen. It looked like they'd printed off the menu that day after just like running around the kitchen and the surrounding shops to be like, what could we do that kind of implies Christmas? And what they'd done was, it's in Kent, so there's quite a kind of farm to table countryside-y vibe, and they'd gone for things like pigeon and pheasant and venison and things like that. But unfortunately, and I've never seen this on a menu, I've eaten at quite a lot of places that serve those things over the years, and never seen on the menu brackets may contain bullets. Like the food that you're served may contain just bullets.
Why?
Surely they could take them out.
What? Why were there bullets there?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know. They were little gangster pigeons.
They've been shot and just put directly into the pot.
There's a chef running around with a basket.
It's like the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, where he's like catching all of Gaston's game and just chucking it in a big pie.
That's odd, isn't it?
That's very odd.
I don't ever want to eat anything that may contain bullets. That's just a risk beyond necessary.
No. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's not like when you eat a fish that might have some bones in. Like, human teeth can deal with a fish bone, unless you swallow it, I guess, and then you're like pheasanted.
Then that's it, forever.
But crunching on a bullet seems like an act of dental treason. I don't think you'd forgive yourself.
No.
They also do this thing, it's like a half-hearted attempt at loyalty scheme, loyalty points. And Jacob's family have lived near it for about a year and a half now, maybe, and they're curry aficionados, so they go quite frequently. And they have this card that accrues points. Each time you go, it's like some amount of points based on how much you spend, the classic setup. They've been going for a year and a half, and they'd accrued, I think, like 400 points or something, because I asked, he was like, yeah, it's 405 or something. I was like, that sounds like quite a lot. What does that represent? And he was like, well, the thing is, when you get to 1,000, then you get a Poppadom starter for free. I left the restaurant.
So there were less than nectar points.
It's not
even.
a Poppadom, it's a Poppadom starter, so there's probably like some accoutrement that make it barely acceptable, but very barely. Anyway, back to the year. I can't remember why I brought out those pheasants, but
you brought them up while you were giving me a 0 to 10 scale.
Oh yeah, so that's zeros. You've just been stood there like one of those fake pheasants, just like staring into the same Blair Witch-esque corner for a whole year. That would be 0. 10 is the memoir. Where'd you rate it? Go.
It's weird because like anything close to either extreme is just so outrageous a claim for anyone to make about their year.
Because a year's a while,
because I mean, if 10 is the UN mandates a memoir, like an 8 is still pretty fucking
8
good.
is like the EU are doing a report.
Yeah. so like by the time I get to a point where it's reasonable, it's probably about 4. But then if 0 is like I've spent the entire year catatonically standing there watching the world go by, like a 3 is still probably pretty piss poor. So
3 is you did that, but only at weekends.
Yeah. So I mean, it feels like the only place I could safely go is 5, but then I'm one of those saddos saying they've had a neutral year. So what I'll say is I'm going to go with a 7.
Wow, that's very bold. Let's do another of these questions, and then I'd love to hear whatever you mean by a New Year's poem.
Well, I've got several, so we can dot them throughout.
Oh, that's good. Number 2. What was one of the most interesting things I learned this year? You have to answer on behalf of me.
One of the most interesting things you learned this year is that not everyone has the same etiquette around bath mats as you.
Okay, we've not talked about this on the show, have we? And I didn't appreciate your house cooling gesture when you left for Christmas.
Right. Do you know about the thing about that is that I thought it was going to be ruined because you came back like early.
No, it was fine. I hadn't used the bathroom until you'd gone.
Yeah.
Set the scene. Mark seems like a normal guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, as
Yeah.
normal as any of our friends is.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, yeah, like he's a fairly straight button guy,
Yeah,
isn't he?
Straight arrow, straight laced.
Like he's very like thin, tall.
Yeah, he's like a big walking match.
Yeah, so he seems like a normal person. But Isaac, you see, and he predominantly share a bathroom.
Yes.
And Isaac sent me a message shortly before Christmas saying, "Can we talk about why this keeps happening?"
Now,
And
cut to my perspective, it was something that it's one of those things, like not unlike any of those, usual suspect moments in films where suddenly all the pieces fall into place. I had a realization just before sending that message that something had been off for the whole duration of our stay. What was it, like 2.5 months now? And that every so often I'd go into the bathroom and the big grey bath mat that sits, as the name would suggest, by the bath. It's a mat, it sits by the bath. That's all well and good, but not for everyone, it would turn out. Every so often, I would enter the room, only to find that it had been placed like some sort of doormat for shit, right up against the toilet, as if you were sitting there like, I don't know, it makes it look like what I imagine a very skilled vomiter would do if they were like very delicate about their knees when they were going to like have their daily throwing up session. It looked like you'd present it there to just cushion the process of emptying your stomach contents straight into the toilet. Because there's no clear reason I can think of why you would put a bath mat in front of a toilet where it's only going to accumulate. It's like why it's weird to go into a bathroom that's carpeted. Like that's fundamentally upsetting for me. And it had happened a few times, like maybe every week and a half or something I'd go in and I'd probably be distracted by something like going in to brush my teeth, so I wouldn't really think much of it, just move it back. But then I thought, like, as I watched it that day, as I just opened the door to find this taunting me again, I just played a little tape back in my head of the amount of times I'd had to move it and realised that I fundamentally cannot understand or empathise with any possible reason as to why it was being moved, and that scares me, listener. It really does, because if I'm sharing a bathroom with a monster, then I need to know that. I should have every right to find out in advance. So I sent you a picture of it, and it's something you'd noticed as well.
Yeah, I'd noticed every now and then going in there. I mean, I don't feel quite as vehemently about it.
Give me a
as
reason
you
why
do.
it's happening then. How are you rationalising it in your head?
Don't know, maybe he's got cold feet.
But just there? Like just at the toilet? Why not by the sink?
Well, maybe because
He's not moving it in front of the mirror when he brushes his teeth every night.
No, but like when if it's you're spending a while there.
How long is he spending there? Is he treating it like an office? He's turned into a bureau.
Sometimes one needs a little bit of peace in the day.
Yeah. Is that right next to my room? The
Yeah,
bathroom
that's
that
it.
backs onto my bedroom.
Taking a dump right against the back
Against
of
a
your
shared wall. Fantastic. Make yourself at home. Can I get you a towel, sir?
your
glass of
chest
water,
of drawers,
Some
listening
fibre to
in.
ease your passage. It's dreadful.
But I mean, I'm not saying that it's normal to constantly move the bath mat over to the toilet.
I feel like if it was something that I knew I did, as that there are many idiosyncrasies, God knows I have my fair share. I'm usually aware enough of them that I will, if they change something about a room, I will revert that change when leaving the room, because I know like that it's an abnormality on my part. A requirement that I have is not something that everyone has. So I think if I was doing something as weird as moving a bath mat in front of a toilet, I would know that that was weird and then move it back. But it's the fact that it's like what we said about Roy Moore using the phrase reds and yellows without thinking about it. It's the fact that it's just being done so callously and without the consideration that really makes me worry.
But I mean, there's a slight difference in that. Whilst I understand that you're upset by this,
You're saying Mark's worse.
It isn't that damaging.
No.
Like,
it's not damaging. Yeah, I agree.
Saying reds and yellows.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's quite deeply offensive to a lot of people. And so there, like, I can understand there being a level of disturbance that is at the level of, well, it's the callousness. Whereas with this, I mean, it is only 5 feet away from where it normally is.
I'm well aware.
I'm not surprised that he doesn't. I'm not surprised that he's not like shivering with fear and embarrassment. Like, because
maybe he is.
To be honest, like, I wouldn't be either.
No, I wouldn't be either. And I'm not saying that they're equally bad by any means. I'm just saying that the same mental
punishment should apply.
I'm saying neither of them should be senators. Okay, look, I'm going to come out and say it. I wouldn't vote Mark for Alabama.
Imagine if like Mark's ever up for like some kind of election, you just start leaking these photos.
I'm going to run my own like advertising
smear campaign.
It will have the quality and the like photographic look of all the estate agent bathroom photos we've seen, where it's like, bang, suddenly a 70s looking toilet where you'd hide Madeleine McCann. But yeah, I'm not saying that they're equally bad by any means. I'm just saying that it's less about the action and more about the fact that it's just so flagrant. And that's what concerns me, because that's like when you gaze into the eyes of a serial killer and you realise that they're so far beyond what you expect of the parameters of a human. And that's just fear, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose if you were being melodramatic, that is fear. Yeah.
But what next? Where's he going to put it next? You're going to wake up and it'll just be like at the foot of your bed. Then you'll be sorry.
That's like a really shit, like Hammer House of Horror, like the bath mat that never slept. Every day you come out, it's just like inching closer to your door.
I'm telling you, Chief, it's moving itself. Don't be stupid.
How do you know?
Well,
I was asleep for just a mere 8 hours, and when I woke up, it was 7 feet closer to the door. You're right, no man would do this.
And you live here by yourself? Well, not exactly, Chief.
But the others, they were asleep as well. No. One was... I mean, one of them did suggest that one did suggest he might have done it, but I'm having none of it, Chief.
I think we need to stage some sort of recorded intervention. I just want to get an answer is all. Because I feel like...
It's an intervention that has never before happened in the history of flat sharing.
I guess not. It's just, like I say, it's not the act that
Are we going to,
like,
set up...
It's the mindset.
a couple of chairs in the living room.
I'm going to get them to sit on the bath mat.
We're just sitting...
I'm going to be smoking, facing away on the balcony. And then I'm going to, like, throw it to one side and turn... and the lightning will flash or something. It'll be great.
Take a seat, Mark.
Mark, we've been expecting you. You've got a lot to answer for, my man. So, what you're saying is the most interesting thing I learned this year is that Mark, friend and flatmate, needs to have added on to his name, probable killer of men.
I mean, that's your version of what I think you learned this year.
You were supposed to be answering what I learned, and that seems to be where you've led us to. That seems to be the natural conclusion.
Well, if that's what you're going to keep insisting, then I suppose I can't change that.
Good. Well, I'm glad we agree. Give us a poem for the love of all that is holy.
Would we like a short one, a longer one, or a very short one?
I'd like the very short one first, just to kind of set the mood. And then I'd like the next shortest one.
Okay.
Where did you find these?
Don't you worry.
Oh, no, you've got a secret source.
New Year. This was written by someone called J.M. Sergeant.
Cool name.
The only thing holding me back from this new year is you.
Oh, me.
Yep.
Is that the whole poem?
That's it.
Wow. That's a real sense of brevity there.
But just so that you know that it's art, there is some enjambment
very
going
nice.
on in here.
Rupi
In the way of the
Kaur
only
stuff.
thing holding me back, new line from this new year. Line space
Hello?
is you.
Oh, that's very clever.
Yeah.
What does
'Cause
that
then-
mean, though? What do you think they're implying?
Oh,
by that?
no, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
No, it's nothing. I'm
Right,
just
okay.
saying that's
No,
how we
okay,
know.
that makes
That's
sense,
how
actually.
he has distinguished that as a bit of
Because
art.
I was struggling to think of what it could mean. And then,
Yeah.
But then if you're saying it's nothing, then that would explain why I couldn't come up with any
No,
ideas.
that'll be it.
So
yeah.
it's just bollocks.
It's just bullshit.
Okay,
is
that's
what
good.
it is.
God, poetry's great, isn't it?
It's fantastic. You
have
said you
another.
wanted the next shortest.
Give us
Here we go.
straight to
This
us.
one's a few more lines.
Wow.
This one is also called New Year.
That's
And this
derivative.
one was written by someone called Oscar Tarango.
Cool name. It sounds like an orangutan. It's come up with a pen name, like the infinite monkeys and typewriters. like an
I think
anagram.
I think it's the name of that old mascot for the Tango adverts who used to slap everyone.
Oscar Tarango. Was
Yeah.
that how he booked into hotels when he was going to go
like
and
getting ready
tango
for a
people?
gig. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, you're painted orange, I noticed. You're
That's
not
how he
here
liked
to tango anyone.
That's the name he gave to the police. New Year. Also, again, just so we know this is art, there's no punctuation here,
Oh,
and
that's good.
this is all lowercase as well.
No. No punctuation and it's lowercase.
Yeah.
That's an art overload.
We enter 2015 new,
It's
Reborn.
contemporary. Up to date
clean
reference.
slate. We enter every new year like a new born. We are reborn. What will come this year? The world can change in a year for the better. Or for the worse.
Ooh. Two sides to that.
Yeah.
So he's setting up that it could, in the year, what he's saying is that there could be change. First, there could be change, like he's
Yeah.
saying it can,
The world can change
in a whole year.
In a year.
That's good, because if it couldn't, then I think that would be very dull, wouldn't it? I'd check right out of 2018, I'd get a raisin with horsehair right down my throat. So that's good. But then he's given us a kind of two roads
given us a
diverging yellow
binary.
wood feel. Because
Yeah.
one avenue, there's this positive change, non-specific. Let's
the
the
better.
reader think about it. Clever.
Or for the worse, though, he says.
That's nice, isn't it? He's left us with a lot of questions, and isn't
Hmm.
that just the essence of poetry?
That is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he mentioned twice this element of being reborn.
Yeah, I thought that was quite subtly shoved down our throats throughout the piece.
But what I thought was good was that it didn't go anywhere, so it didn't actually have any bearing on.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because
on
he's
the
saying that
message.
in the year you're going to pick up like a new hobby, like chess or something, and then you're not necessarily always going to see it through to the finish line. Like you might just give up because you realise computers can play it better than me.
Well, and also like you'll take up chess, and that chess that could be the change for the better. You could like win the world championships, and you like be remembered by not many people, but some. Or it could be a change for the worse, and you might use it as a
Might
code
choke on
to
a
write your
porn.
own manifesto
Yeah,
of pure hatred.
that's really good, actually. Who is that
It
by
might
again? Oscar?
it might set you up to like believe in blacks versus whites.
That would be a very interesting thing to take away from the game of chess, wouldn't it? That it's a
Imagine if that
metaphor
was
for
like
race
your
war.
that was your final message.
I bet there is some thinking that says
Oh, definitely.
something along those lines. And if you're one of the adherents of said school, then do get in touch because you're a mentor. Love to chat.
Yeah, that was by Oscar Tarango.
Tarango, okay, that's one to watch in 2018, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, he hasn't necessarily done much of note since January 2015.
I
but
think he's like one of
it's-
those seeds that comes into bloom every
It's
400
been
years.
it's been only 3 short years since he wrote that poem.
God, and just
So
think of
he's
all the
been-
things he got right.
He's been reborn thrice.
That's nuts. He probably can't even remember his own name by now.
No,
He's moved on so much. Look, here's a question for you. What was one of your most challenging moments and why?
Well, we have a 3-hour, 3-part special on the most challenging moment of our year.
Of the year, though? Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Do you think that was the absolute apex of challenge for you this year?
In one sense, yeah. I suppose it was the single most challenging moment.
And in another sense, I did watch you play that time trial level on Spyro for 3 hours straight.
You haven't watched me play cat hockey yet.
What a shame.
Or an even more bullshit boxing level that has nearly been the end of our French
TV.
doors.
Oh, no. That'd be a shame.
But yeah, I mean, those things are very, very painful.
Yeah.
But I suppose it wasn't the most trying, most difficult. I mean, Block Switch holds a particular place in my heart, just because of the sheer volume of fear that remains. Yeah. But I suppose as well that the entirety of the latter half of September, going into right up until we moved in October, that house hunting period of our lives is one I could very well never do again.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like if at the end of the year we can sort something out where we just live here for the rest of our lives. I'm in. I'm just letting you know now that
I've got one bath mat shaped caveat, but once that's satisfied, I will sign on the dotted line. Rest assured.
And just, oh my God, and finding guarantors, and then not finding guarantors, and
finding that they didn't want to be,
and then needing so many guarantors.
Oh dear.
And then not knowing either way.
Here's a question for you. Who's one person you've met this year? I'm thinking this would be, like, I don't want it to be, I don't know, someone that is now quite close to you. Like, that would be rubbish. So no proper friends. But who's like an incidental character who'd be played by like one of those actors that you recognise from other stuff, but you've never learnt the name of because he always plays like man with pithy comment at bar. Who's one incidental character in your life that you've met this year that you'd like to get to know better? Why?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I like that question.
I mean, obviously, before your caveats to the question, it probably would have been Mark.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, as we've said, we know an awful lot about him now. But that is quite a good question. I suppose probably not Joe.
Angela?
No.
You're not about that.
Andrea.
Angela. Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Angela Drea. No, not her either. Okay. Because I still don't think she exists.
No.
Even though we've seen video evidence, I still don't believe that she exists.
They can do all sorts with CGI these days.
That was in the past.
Yeah.
Not saying she never existed.
No, just nowadays.
Maybe Adrienne.
I was thinking Adrienne. Should we invite her over for dinner?
Yeah.
On New Year's Day. Cancel your plans with your family, Adrienne. Bring your wet eyes over here, forthwith.
Yeah, I don't know. She's just very, very, very...
I feel like she'd be a wild card in our group. And we don't have one of those yet.
No.
Well.
I mean, apart from Dange.
Oh, that's true, yeah. I'd like to see them interact, yeah.
I think they'd fall in love.
I think you could just put them in situations together, and if they didn't have a child within the hour, that would be an abomination before God. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. How do you feel about our neighbours? Would you like to get closer to any of those guys?
No.
No, you're happy
if
with
anything
them at a distance?
further. I can't get on board with people who leave a bag of trash in a communal corridor.
Do they do that?
All the time.
That's mental.
What I do is I sing a really loud song about it whenever I'm at the door.
What's it to the tune of?
Oh, it changes every time.
There's this trash. That would be my one.
I'm just there like, oh, did you watch Oliver on television over Christmas as well?
Of course I did.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ron Moody
fantastic.
loves a bit of stealing.
But,
Bill Sykes.
But no, I'll just be there like, corridor trash. Everyone's favourite corridor trash. It stinks out the place.
Well, it's good to know that the neighbours won't be wanting to get any closer to us either. It's a mutual distance. We just
What about our racist handyman?
Oh, yeah, Daniel. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He was nice, actually. He was
We could
nice
get to
apart
know him
from
more.
when he started talking about how people from different ethnicities, their DNA is different and they don't think like us. But when he was...
When he was not doing that.
Yeah, whenever I could steer the conversation like a great big IKEA trolley with one wheel missing, just wrench it back off that to the more usual topics like, oh, do you want a cup of tea? What do you think about imperialism?
It was very lovely when he was saying, yes, thanks, love one.
And when he fixed that.
How do you take it? Well, I take it white because you can't take it black because they think differently.
That was pretty much his vibe. No, he was an interesting chap, of course. There are just so many of these characters that come into and out of our lives.
I tell you who I want to know more of, but probably just from a distance.
Yeah.
Is it's quite a niche reference, but that guy who was working on Air at Alton Towers, who did that really
Air the
meaningful,
Ride.
who did that really meaningful walk towards us when we were going round for our second time, and then just like darted away at the
He
last
came
second.
towards us with the sheer magnetism of a king.
Purpose.
He strode from 100 yards, just direct eye contact the whole way, as if he was about to deliver once more into the breach.
to just us.
Just two people are the only people in Thorpe Park.
He said nothing.
He only arrived
just
and just
swerved round us.
leaves. In a way, that was the greatest gift of all, because it's just, he's given us so much to think about. It's a bit like that, doing that act is akin to the bath mat, because it's like, I will never understand that thought
What was
process.
going on?
Yeah, how did he go about that?
I do like these like small instances of making people feel uncomfortable like that, though.
Yeah.
The one that I always like to do, ever since I saw Dara O'Brien talk about it in a stand-up act, is face the wrong way
In a lift.
in elevators.
Yeah.
I love doing it because
nice.
people are so unnerved by the sheer
weird.
audacity.
It's one of those things that would just tell you so much. Like, it's such a great indicator that you're unhinged. It just speaks volumes about your state that you think that's okay. Like, I saw a man lick a chair on a bus. Like, I don't need to know anything else about him to know he should be in prison. It's simple.
Yeah, some people do need a bit of help.
Yeah.
I've been reminded, like, I found someone like this as well last night at this shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the volunteers. My first job was on the front door.
Oh, same.
And there were 3 of us on the front door and then 2 down the back at the second, like, gate.
You made it sound like you were like in gang formation to mug someone when they come down the alley. And then when I give the word, we jump.
You charge down. And one of the like senior volunteers who was there is apparently famed for just posing hypotheticals all night to like keep people interested in
That's
talking.
a great thing.
So I was
to be
like,
famed
this is
for.
great. I know. So his first would you rather was, would you rather a small pair of hands on the top of your head or a small pair of feet on your chin? And I was like, well, I was of the opinion that anyone choosing chin feet
Should be shot.
is
on sight.
like ill,
Yeah.
beyond repair.
I'm glad we agree.
Also, I'm thinking little pair of hands on the head. My first thought was, when you're at a busy bar, pop the drinks up there, and then you can just
that's
move
quite
through the
clever.
crowd.
My first thought was if you ever had to tunnel underground, you'd be able to just dive straight in like a great big worm.
Why was your first thought something you've never had to do before and
Because-
probably never will?
Because that's what I was looking for. I was like, what can this bring to my life that my normal hands don't already cover? And that's it for me. They've just enabled that whole new avenue of digging.
Oh, well, there you go. Write that down then.
That's great.
But so,
Don't tell
for
me
some
anyone there
reason...
chose chin feet.
Oh, no. See, this was the thing. There was an even split at the front.
No. Well, they're escorted
People
off
wanted-
premises.
I gave them a piece of my mind. I said they were fucking ill.
Yeah.
But they aren't actually the people that I was referring to. I was referring to someone of a much more insidious psychopathy, psychopathology.
Yeah.
Which was, he was like, right, I'm going to go down and ask the people at the back gate. And he came back and he went, well, one said, don't know. And the other said, I can't think about this now.
Oh.
And I went down later with the next one, and I met this man, and let me tell you, I was like, I hate him.
Why?
Because he didn't understand what a hypothetical was.
Oh yeah, I've met.
And
this.
I can't get on board with that.
No, it does.
Because he was like,
lack of
because the woman who didn't know, she was like, I'm going with hands on the head. Mm-hmm. I was like, well done. And then I was like, and what about you? And he was like, well, there's no need.
It's just a lot of rubbish, isn't it? Because
like,
they couldn't have either of them.
There's no need for an answer. I don't really care. And I was like, well, I wasn't asking you to care.
No, I was asking you to decide.
To just give an answer. It was literally a would you rather.
A war room at NATO, and they're like, do you want to launch it or not? And they're like, I can't think about this right now.
So the next one was, if neither would cause you to die, would you never eat again or never drink again?
Great question. The obvious answer is never drink again.
Right. And this is what I chose.
Good.
As well. But he went, well, you can get water from food. Right. So I'd never drink again. And I was like, but you don't need the water. And he went, you always need water.
8 cups a day, lad. I read it on the Beeb.
No, but it's part of the question that you don't. He went, but that can't change science. Oh, I was like,
stop
I hate you.
How old is this person?
He was like 40.
What was his job? I bet he was an accountant.
He was wearing pajama bottoms.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
At what time? He was not a guest.
No.
He was there to help out, and he was just in his pyjamas. He thought it was a big sleepover with homeless people. I guess it is in a way.
Yeah.
But not for the volunteers.
Not in that way.
No. Oh, well, that's...
Not in the way he was expecting. Yeah.
Look, I think we should do one more question and then get out, because I've been holding back the world's longest session of coughing since 41 minutes ago.
Well, I have a couple of poems for you before you go.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Let's do poems and then end on this question, because I think it will bring us out. It will either bring us out on a real high note, or you'll get it wrong, and then the show's over. So just think on that.
So we've got 4 short poems here.
Good. All New Year themed, I hope.
Oh, of course.
Oh, good. You've done the work.
This one's called Resolution by Bassam A.
Great.
Bassam has an interesting take on the idea of love, which is one that isn't all that loving, it seems.
Okay. He's got some baggage as well.
It's like a kind of Sheldon Cooper idea of love.
Right.
So it's called Resolution. The year has ended prosperously.
That's good.
At least for me.
Oh.
I don't know about you. I accomplished most of my goals. I'm glad that we got to know each other. I hope we can find a common ground in our book, a single page that we both stop at and rest. For that to happen, I will have to slow down, or you may need to speed up.
Wow, patronising.
I may stop and wait for you at the next coffee shop. Café Je T'aime. Hope to see you there more often. My new resolution for this year is, quote, to keep loving you and keep our love strong.
That's nice.
Wish you a very happy year.
Now, are you sure that's a poem and not just like the bit of his card that he was going to send someone fell out into the internet? It had none of the hallmarks of poetry.
Well, there's no actual poetry in it, no, but he's declared it one.
I guess, yeah.
In a way, who are we to argue?
That's fair enough. I'm not going to argue with Bassam.
That's it. But yeah, I like that he will have to slow down, or they may need to speed up.
Yeah, one of the two.
Then you get to choose next. Do you want New Year, New Me, New Year Polish.
That one.
Or the Year of the Monkey.
No, that one.
New Year Polish.
No, I want Year of the Monkey.
Oh, you want
I was born in the Year of the Monkey. Is it going to be the Year of the Monkey again?
Don't know.
Who knows?
I think it was last year.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
The Year of the Monkey. This year has just begun. The Year of the Monkey on the Chinese lunar calendar. When monkeys are out and about.
That's not what it means.
Leaping above and bouncing around, all with that careless smile.
Imagine if that's how the year of any animal was celebrated. They just release a bunch of them into like cities and industrial areas. Go wild, mate.
Off we go.
Dragons is going to be big.
Those lucky monkeys will bring wishes to reality. All the promises we've made to others and to ourselves. If not then, it must be now to count and sort things out. Shouldn't wait anymore. Just let all the monkeys out.
This is just like a very thinly veiled metaphor / apology for breaking into London Zoo and wreaking havoc on the monkey enclosure.
Did you see about the fire at London Zoo?
Yeah. I was on the tube when they did an announcement about it.
But the thing my mum said was that on the news, on the radio, they said they had killed, what was it, like killed a wallaby or something.
Oh.
But that there were 4 meerkats missing, presumed dead.
Oh, that's very sad, but very strange way of putting it.
Silly.
Like they're warriors.
Killed in action. Yeah. They've gone AWOL.
MIA.
Yeah, just let all the monkeys out.
Let's
all smile a monkey's smile and act like we've never feared before in paradise, because at the end, it's about nothing but how to keep that big, mischievous monkey's smile when our wishes suddenly become superfluous.
Wow. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what they mean. What were they hoping for? It was something about promises, but then also it was about there being monkeys everywhere.
Yeah, I think they lost track of their own imagery and thought it was just a prediction.
Oh dear. And then, yeah, we have New Year, New Me and New Year Polish
I want
left.
Polish, and I want to end on New Year, New Me.
I may have gotten... This is another one where there's just no fucking poetry. This is just someone's domestic that they've written down with a bit of enjambment.
Clever.
I may have gotten into the stupidest argument of my life. It was about men painting their nails. Yes, men painting their nails.
Well, I never.
I want to paint my nails a deep burgundy because, well, I feel like I really don't need a reason. Fair. She said it would turn my nails yellow. I said, I don't give a fuck. She said, men don't wear nail polish. I said, I don't give a fuck.
Repetition.
She said she didn't have any nail polish. I said, bullshit. I'll go buy my own then.
Wow.
When I walked to the front door with my car keys, she stamped her feet and said, fine. And she walked upstairs to her bathroom where she kept all the nail polish.
He was right. She did have some.
That was from King Panda.
That was the end.
That's the end.
It had nothing happened. There's no narrative. That's such a specific view of New Year.
Someone called Woody commented, smiley face, good for you.
That has the feel of a conversation you enter into in small talk where you ask someone how's life, how's it going, just at a party, and then they launch into something they've been waiting to say for too long. That's like someone asked if they had any plans for New Year and then really regretted
it. What I was going to do was I was going to paint my nails.
A deep burgundy, may I say. Okay, give us New Year.
New Year, New Me. New Year, New Me is the saddest attempt at a kind of inspirational poem.
Okay.
Where none of the images quite work. It's like first drafts of a motivational poster, especially the ending. New Year, New Me. All guests are gone. Beds emptied. Washes on. New Year, a new me. Stop my vices for a fitter me to be. Yeah. My mantra, kindness. New year, a new me. Yoga my roots.
Ugh.
Love my stem. Seeds to grow.
Love my stem just means wanking, doesn't it? There's no two ways about it.
There's no other
What are you doing up
possible
there,
meaning.
Tony?
You're not loving your stem again, are you? You'll go blind.
Not on the Sabbath. Have some respect.
New year, new me. This is my favourite. This is the last stanza.
Okay.
It's art. The world is ours. Cherish the now. Grow kinder branches. Be the leaves you want to see.
Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything at
New
all.
you, new year.
Oh, changed it up at the end though.
Be the leaves.
Be the leaves
you want to see.
That sounds like
It's
a robot's idea of motivational speaking. It sounds like a robot.
It's that
wandered
Harry
into-
Potter bot.
Yeah.
That's asked to do a motivational poster.
It's a robot that like fell into greetings card writing by accident and is trying to
Yeah.
pretend it's a human, even though it's quite clearly wearing
it's
a
like
mask.
it's like that bit in BoJack where Princess Caroline's boyfriend, the Raoul Esparza
Oh, yeah.
mouse, is like having to come up with a new holiday to sell gift cards.
Uh-huh.
Be the leaves you want to see. New year.
October 12th is Be the Leaves Day. Sign up now. Well, that was lovely. And I think that's given us a lot to think about in the new year. But casting our eyes backwards, it was April when back then 2 boys, I'm going to say, sat down in front of a microphone in the living room, not 8 feet below where I sit today, hovering above the living room. And there we sat, we pressed record, and out came the start of what is now a 57 episode run of, you know, it's something that's really shaped the rest of the year for us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
In a big way.
And lest we forget, some of the most inane drivel
Oh, goodness, yes.
ever put into the form of binary.
It's mad. And yet, listen you have, and we are deeply appreciative of it, so appreciative that I cannot speak. If you've heard the episodes, if you've heard one episode and it's just this one, if you've heard more than one, if you've ever emailed, tweeted, followed us anywhere, if you've ever told a friend, following the word of mouth is best of mouth mantra that's really shaped the community around the show, we want to take this opportunity to thank you profusely from the bottom of our sick and ailing hearts for making Shame City what it is. Onwards and upwards for 2018 is the plan.
That's us.
That's us. I've got one more question to see us out. If you get it wrong, you're off the show.
Wow,
Question
here we go.
17. What 3 words sum up the year for you? I'll give you 5 seconds, then we'll say it together. 5, 4, 3. See you next year. 2, 1.
That's a shame.
See you in 2018.
Bye, guys. Wommy bomb.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Look for the bare necessities, the simple necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh, Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder. My new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. The bare necessities, the bare necessities, the bare necessities of life will come to you.